Alrighty, let's go ahead and bring this microphone live and say hello to our lovely audience. Welcome, boys and girls. It's so good to see you guys. It's been so long since I've been live. I can't tell you how excited I am to talk to you about the markets today. And I know that seems really weird, maybe kind of messed up, because most people are suffering and they're panicking and they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off. But not us. No, not us. We know better than that. And that's why I wanted to call this little meeting. Okay, for us to discuss this and help talk sense into our friends and our neighbors and our families. This is very, very important for us to stay level-headed right now. And I wanted to be live to do this, guys. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and roll that bumper credit at the beginning. I know some of you say you hate it. Some of you say you love it. I'm keeping it, right? I'm keeping it. Guys, I'll see you on the other side. Be right back. And there's the official start of the show. Hit that subscribe button, slam the bell icon, or tickle it, whatever, so you're notified when new videos come out. And guys, again, as per usual, your support means so much. I really appreciate you being here and chatting with me about these markets. Pretty important stuff. Again, as mentioned before, so much to go over, but as per usual, let me go through the typical battery of content that we do for our mining market signal. So much has changed, even in just a couple of days since I published the last one. So let's do some housekeeping stuff here, get through a couple of necessaries, take the vitals of the market and mining profit, and then we'll come back to sort of the larger trends in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, everything, right? Top to bottom, Ethereum, stuff that's coming up there. And you guys direct with me a little bit how this show goes by asking great questions. And of course, being helpful like you always are. Lovely audience. You guys are just simply the best. So keep those questions coming in the comment section. I've got those live. No, you don't have to super chat to get my attention. Whatever. We're not going to play that game until we absolutely have to, right? Until the comment section just gets absolutely flooded and there's no other choice. So my commitment is to you guys. Let me jump out of the way here and show you the fear and greed index. Looks like I'm kind of in the way, actually. Scroll that back up. Yeah, see that trend line? That is nuts right there on the fear and greed index. You see that right above me? We've gone almost all the way down to single digits again. It's been a while. There you go. Very beginning or very end of May since we last felt this, right? So what's that joke in cryptocurrency? Bitcoin has retraced to prices not seen since 1 month ago. And literally, it's true. Look at the sentiment, too. Pretty much right there. Tells a lot of the same story, guys. We're almost exactly a month down the line or 3 weeks down the line, and we see that sentiment is just going nuts. People are losing faith right now, or they're just very, very fearful. Again, going over what this actually means, the fear and greed index, right now we're in the category of extreme fear. Hey, Crypto McLSE in the comments section. MTFD, guys, that means mind the effing dip. And he is not wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about that in just a minute here, but mining profits are better and healthier than they've been in a while. And that's saying something, considering how incredibly good they've been in this market. But with the recent sort of discovery of resistance for mining profit with difficulty on the network, and then, of course, the prices and the upcoming EIPs for Ethereum, there's been a lot at play that could have thrown us out of profit, but we're back. So guys, the fear and greed index, though, this is, as they say, multifactorial crypto market sentiment analysis, and it's primarily based on Twitter and Reddit. Those are the big two data sources, right? Those big two data sources tell us a lot about what's going on in crypto markets. Guys, again, just want to thank you in advance for sharing the link on this video, sharing it on Twitter, on Reddit, on Discord, tagging your friends and family, being a part of the conversation. Every bit of support is so helpful. Let me mention also, while we're live here, if you haven't tagged Savage Mind lately over on Twitter, just to tell the guy that you miss him, he's done such incredibly good work and given such goodwill to this market, right? To cryptocurrencies and to GPU mining. And he's done it largely without anybody's positive feedback and largely without, the financial incentive or whatever. He's just a really giving, really big hearted guy. So Savage Mind, right? So at Savage Mind, just those two words. Dealing with a little bit of a health issue there, health struggle there. Don't know the specifics, but just saying, my heart is, my heart is in his court, right? I want to see him do well at the end of all this stuff. So thanks again for sharing this video as well, guys, and getting people a part of the conversation. Again, not going to do any kind of super chat hijinks here. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But right now, the Fear and Greed Index, if you're not familiar with this, let me go ahead and drop this into the live chat. So if you guys aren't using this, phenomenal tool for you to take a look at. We just rolled over about 3.5 hours ago to a brand new reading on the Fear and Greed Index. And this gives us at a glance kind of how people are thinking and talking publicly about this asset class, and specifically Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Really, it's gonna kind of like in terms of a bit of a oh gosh darn it, what's the name of that machine? Plinko balls, right? So a bit like the Plinko ball set, and when everything is all settled down at the bottom, it really kind of funnels down to a couple different areas, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Really, at the end of the day, those are the big ones that you can measure sentiment on these platforms. And so the Fear and Greed Index is largely based on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and that's measured on Reddit and Twitter. Just, again, kind of going through some of the details there. Kind of unnecessary, but I wanted to let you know that's why. Right now, extreme fear. Yesterday, extreme fear. Guys, we're not in uncharted territory here. It's just been a little while since we took a look at this, and we thought we were going to go up, and we had that really great rally. We'll look at a chart in just a little while. Do I offer technical analysis? Come on, guys, really? This is me we're talking about. No! Do your own research. But we can look at charts, right? We're not completely knuckle dragging apes. We can figure out some stuff on our own too. And I want to start going over a little bit of that with you guys. If you'll allow me, I want to take a little journey in learning some of the indicator tools and sharing that with you along the way. I just don't want to feel helpless when I look at a chart, right? Like, I don't want to feel like I don't understand it or like it's a foreign language to me. And as a miner, I'm just going to say, like, towards the end of this bull run, I think it's going to become more essential for the at-home miner to learn how to do that, be a lot more savvy and a lot more cutthroat about what we do with those profits that we get after we're done mining. So with your permission, I want to start introducing more of those technical analysis tools. So just some of those indicators and tools, and just go over maybe their basic usage without, trying to like draw custom charts for people or whatever. That's not what I do. Not at all. But just try to understand how these charts work, how they read, what some time frames might do that would be helpful for us, specifically when we're expecting once daily or once every 3 day or once every week payouts. Those are the time frames that we're typically able to work within as miners. And so it doesn't really make sense for us to be chasing like 1 minute charts or 5 minute charts or something, or trying to become like these high frequency swing traders or whatever. Nah, I just don't see that being particularly helpful for us, but being a bit more cutthroat about like, all right, I'm going to lock this in for 3 weeks from now or from 4 weeks from now, then I think that's just a lot smarter. And without it necessarily being at the mercy of a dollar cost average strategy where we're only locking in the profit of that day, if that makes sense. That's an okay strategy, and I think that's just fine, right? Mining helps us return some kind of daily profit. So, whatever it is we have to do. Oh, I'm checking out some of the comments, guys, and they're just fun, right? This is also that time in the market where we tend to go on so-called influencer witch hunts, and you know what? I'm here for it. Bring it. If you got to show up and say mean comments too, my skin is thick enough, and I promise you would not in a million years say that to my face. So I'm just gonna laugh. Whatever. Just really, really funny. But at any rate, guys. So we'll we got Shink Diesel saying in the comments, but have we tried mining XRP yet? That's a really good question. That's a really, really good question. In the same way that we haven't really tried mining USDC directly either, right? So, oh well. Yeah, we're going to have to try some of these new experiments as Ethereum moves to proof of stake, right? Try something else entirely. But at any rate, so let's just get rid of some noise here. Boop. That was easy. And sorry guys, I'm gonna have to moderate on the way. So if you want to be particularly rude, you are just gonna get hidden. If you're distracting, right, at that point. But feel free to say whatever you want to say. And there you go. All right, guys. So Just saying, I don't, again, like people who want to like pretend like they're all tough, like cool, keyboard warrior, act all tough. That's fine. And you can go ahead and like scream into the banhammer void, right? There's an option on YouTube for you to just like continue to type away your frustrations and send it to nobody. YouTube did a really good job of those moderation tools. So have fun. We got some familiar faces in the comment section, guys. Beto, thanks for being over here, man. See ya. You're way too perky for 4:30 a.m. That is 100% accurate. If it were 4:30 a.m. my local time, I would not be quite so perky. No, it'd be scaled back just a little bit. I'd keep all that fire in my belly. You wouldn't see it as much. But it would be there for sure. Nemesis in the comments section, man. I'm so glad you came over here. I apologize. This is not a call-in show right now, guys. I probably need to get some kind of like either hit me up on Discord. Maybe we do a video chat over there. I pull you guys in because I would love to get your feedback as we go with screen sharing. That's kind of the imperative, is that we need to be able to do screen sharing. So if you guys want to hit me up there and we go ahead and get that started, feel free. I would love to bring some miners in, and especially my audience. You guys may not know him, but I've spent quite a bit of time on Clubhouse with, you'll see him in the comment section here if you're live, a guy named Eric Anderson. And he runs a group over on Clubhouse called Crypto and Coffee. And just had a phenomenal time over there, been exploring that platform, getting a sense for what it's all about, how it works, and who we talk to. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists talk over there, and that's fine. Totally fine. I love it, right? I'm here for it. See, guys, I am proud to wear the Bitcoin B on my noggin every day and blaze it into my new logo. No problem, right? Bitcoin is amazing. Absolutely love it. Shrink is saying we need a patron to get this guy a green screen. I've actually got one. And you know what? It's actually a quick release green screen. I've got a little like drawstring over here. I did it up so it just like falls into place. I haven't gone through the time, the effort of setting up my lighting grid for it yet, but man, green screens, if you go the old school route, and you just like pull them out tight, you iron them or whatever, get the little like steamer thing. My wife doesn't believe in irons. We don't have one in our house. So like, so look at the little steamer thing and you get it all flat, and then you have to light it just perfectly, nice soft lighting and whatever else. It's a bit more tricky. Jorgen, thanks for saying hello down in the comment section, man. Definitely appreciate that. Eric, he's saying thank you for the shout out. No, man, totally deserved. Over there at Crypto and Coffee. If you're into Clubhouse, you should go check it out and check us out. We chat there. It's a really fun format, really fun show. What we're doing tonight, though, is going to talk about these markets in a slightly more focused way, right? Just one and done, right? We're going to do a report of all the various sides of the market, and then we'll call it good. Yeah, Jorgen is surprised. He's like, hey, it's an actual live stream. When's the last time Seth went live? It's been a while, my friend. It's been probably a little bit too long. So let me jump out of the way, guys. I feel like I'm hogging the screen here. We got so much more interesting stuff to look at than me, unless you really... Yeah, there we go. Unless you really want to see double faces staring back at you. But guys, let me jump back into the comment section here just to give some shout outs here real quick. Galo, all the way from Bolivia. Thank you so much for saying hello. Definitely appreciate it. Gracias, compay. It's very, very cool. The news that's coming out of, well, El Salvador, but it's pretty close when you get from Centro America and you start heading south just a little bit, right? It's not long before you've engulfed all of the former states of Colombia, right? Like Bolivia and Venezuela and Colombia. It's not long before that idea virus goes crazy, gets contagious, right? And goes all across, hopefully, Central America and South America. We'll see, right? We'll see. These are exciting times, definitely interesting times. So thank you for saying hello there. BB is in the house. Thank you for that. Magitas, hello. Sia, already saw your stuff. Meembin is here, I guess. And Kevin, thanks for saying hello from Florida. Appreciate that. Crypto Mikkel, saw you earlier on. Hope you're still in the audience. Definitely appreciate that. And saw some of the DCA crew coming in as well, guys. Always lovely to see the full crew coming out while we're live, right? Hey, convicted marketer also tuning in from Colombia. Hey guys, it is it's the South American revolution. It's happening. It's happening slower than we want. Gallo saying that it's currently banned in Bolivia. That's a bummer. But here's the thing: the Bitcoin network itself is permissionless. So is it really banned? Maybe as a formality, right? But we know that things like this, they're very difficult to ban. So you're never going to hear from me anything other than, a strict endorsement for you to obey your laws, right? Obey every law in your country and in your state and in your city. You absolutely should. But if it comes to Bitcoin, maybe ask a cousin or, or a grandparent who's in another country to hold some for you. It's worth it. I think it'll pay off in the long run, personally. Not financial advice, but there you go. Shink is saying, getting back to the mining of USDC, is that possible? I was actually joking before. Not possible. Jay is saying, hi from London. Guys, we got a great international crew. Love it. Absolutely love it. So cheers, mate. Thanks for tuning in. I know it's quite late over there. It's already past midnight, I think. So really appreciate that. Definitely cool. Nocturnal Dad is saying, hello from Ohio. Says, can't stop, won't stop the mining. I feel you there, brother. Now, my little production area here is a little more quiet because I've placed my mining rig, my main mining rig, outside of this area. I was going to do single phase liquid immersion cooling with it, but then I realized if I just optimize things a little bit, I'd get by on air, and I'm doing just fine. We had a really hot day the other day where it was close to 3 figures, right? Close to 3 digits in Fahrenheit. Quite hot for North America, but it's summer, right? And we did okay. It did just fine. I was able to get my hottest GPU was, I think, 72 degrees Celsius. So while it's not great, I know that's not ideal, considering that that the ambient air that it was sucking in was like 100 degrees, I'm not mad. I feel like that's okay. I feel like we're going to be all right. Oliver is saying it's also 4:40 a.m. where he is. Man, guys, I apologize. This is rough. But let's jump back into the Fear and Greed Index, guys. We took a long time just covering this little bit, but I did want to let you know that tool, which I linked in the comment section there, something you can look at, and once every 24 hours, it updates, right? We got that update almost 4 hours ago, and then about this time tomorrow night, it's going to be updated again with a new figure, just one whole integer number. That's it, 10. Or on a scale of 0 to 100. And it just tells us whether we're leaning towards fear or extreme fear, really, and all the way up to extreme greed. Now, generally speaking, these are kind of counter indicators. When the rest of the market, and again, without offering financial advice, when the rest of the market is very fearful, it winds up being a really good time to buy. And when the rest of the market is very greedy, it winds up being the worst time to buy, one of the best times to sell, because they think they can just keep buying and that it's going to keep going up. And if you want to take profits or peg out to some kind of stable currency, or just make a trade with some of the currencies that we're mining against something else that may do better, may have a slightly different sentiment associated with it, then that might be okay. And I had a project reach out to me just the last 48 hours. I won't name them in the event that they do ask me to do a paid review of them. But I was not prepared to cover them. They said, like, oh, you don't get it. We're not back up towards our previous all-time high. And it's going to go up. It's going to go up now. They actually made that claim to me in their email. And I thought, ooh, that's bad. That's really, really bad. Because their sentiment was so bullish and so greedy that I thought, okay, that's a counter indicator. I've got to step back. That's not good. Not good at all. Gallo's saying in the comment section that Varus yields yesterday were crazy. I can't wait for us to take a look at the portfolio. So without further ado, let's jump into that. Go to what to mine first, guys. Going to go through the lineup. As you have questions, as you have comments, go ahead and hit them in that live chat down there. And just again, let me just implore you guys to please do share, like, subscribe. It does help out a lot. Let me run that bumper just one more time. Oh my gosh, that's so loud. I need a better transition for this, don't I? Don't I need a better transition for this? Yeah, I think I need a better transition for this, guys. But in the meantime, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and slam the bell icon so you're notified. But yeah. Here we are back on whattomine.com. I have not made custom profiles yet, but we will soon. You guys let me know down in the comments section which kinds of hardware do you want me to make a custom profile for. Would it be one of the newer sort of low hash rate models? Would you prefer that I give the best possible numbers or performance figures to the latest RTX cards in this lineup by making a custom profile for it? Because this basically takes everything that I did a few years ago with that spreadsheet and collating everything and pulling in live data, and it makes it totally obsolete. And I'm happy about that, right? It's one less thing I've got to do to be able to talk about markets and get to the real meat and potatoes, what matters now, right? So you guys let me know in the comments section. call out the model number and tell me what you've experienced as the best or the nominal hash rate and power consumption. If you know that's a fact for Ethereum, based on your experiences, whether you're overclocking, undervolting, using custom VBIOS in the case of AMD or whatever, don't even care. I really don't. If that's your secret sauce, fine. But if you've definitely validated that there's better performance figures than what's available here on What to Mine, I'd rather use those, right? It's so much better to just tell people a realistic expectation of how these GPUs can work. Just in my opinion. All right, so let's start at the very bottom of the stack. I know it sounds crazy. We're going to start with the 380. This is an ancient architecture by today's standards. I think it's like literally a 32 nanometer process for those GPUs, but they're still in the money. How? How's that possible? They're still in the money, guys. And I'll prove that to you. Starting with a cost basis of 12 cents per kilowatt hour, and we're going to an average of 3 days per week now instead of 7. And we're doing that because of Polygon payouts. Brandon Coin, if you're watching, buddy, I'm just going to employ you. Try it. Really, just try it. Try it for a few days. See if you like it. You might not want to go back, man. I know you've mentioned that you don't want to do it, but try it. Okay, so just saying. That's why I'm able to change these numbers here, because we have faster payouts. And with those faster payouts, we've got more, we're a little more nimble, right? We can pivot really fast and we can go over to someplace and change into DeFi, right? So just saying. With that 380, I'll calculate. Shink is asking why just ETH, and the main answer for that, Shink, it's a really good question, guys. I'm so glad you asked, and I'm glad you asked here. The reason that we use Ethereum mining is as a benchmark. It's really that simple. Everything else is kind of a derivative of what the Ethereum mining benchmark is for a given GPU. And if a GPU is not particularly strong on Ethereum, we don't normally view it as the most solid piece of kit to own. Now, in this current market, I'm not advocating that anybody buy new hardware at all. Not one bit. That's not what I'm saying. What we're looking at is the potential revenue, the potential profit of a given piece of hardware that you already own, or that maybe is in the family or in your friend group, and maybe you just want to consolidate into one warehouse together and maybe work together. So those sorts of collabs work very well. Nemesis just tagged me and said, if you ever want to pull me into your live stream, just hit me up anytime. And Nem, I got to do this soon, man. Got to do this soon. I'm going to quickly get through the top of the hour here, and then maybe we go ahead and start a chat with me on Discord. We're friends there, so you'll be able to do it. For everybody else, if we're not friends on Discord, you can't pull me into private chats like that. But let's go ahead and get that video chat going there, and then I'll pull you in after we do this sort of like quick news segment here. But really appreciate that. Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So with that 380, I already hit calculate there. We're going with 12 cent power. Going to scroll down and see we've got Ethereum Classic that's still showing up as profitable, and we've got Ergo at 30 cents per day after the cost of power. Guys, that's pretty amazing. This is a pretty simple tool to use if you haven't used it before. I just highlight by clicking on the one model that I want to get the numbers for. And these are kind of basic average numbers. They're not the most optimized. And this is what I was talking about before. We can create a profile for cards like this that don't do Ethereum at all. We can maybe put in their ETH4G numbers, right? Their Dagger Hashimoto 4 gigabyte numbers here, and get better info down below. Because it could be that in reality, after you use a hex editor to do the VBIOS modification on the 380, which, by the way, is necessary. These older models, you couldn't use like Polaris BIOS editor and one-click install, and it wasn't like on Voscoin's channel where it was like any pleb or any normie could do it. You actually had to rip the VBIOS, use a hex editor, search for very specific values in a very specific string, and change those values manually without the aid of any like middleware at all. It was a little more rough. But people were doing that on a regular basis and getting far better memory timings and mining a lot more profit. So it is possible that there are better numbers here. And if you're one of those old school dudes, then you let me know what your best possible numbers are there. Maybe you're still mining on these. Like, you'd be crazy not to, right? This is even with low efficiency and that higher power consumption, it's still making money. Right? That's the whole point, is it's still making money. So you can keep them running and it's still keeping you in the profit. So top of the list, Ethereum Classic and Ergo. Just didn't expect that newer algorithm to work well on older cards. The Fury, this is an HBM card. If you're not familiar with it for whatever reason you're tuning in, I don't know why you wouldn't be if you're on this live stream, frankly. But if you're not familiar with it, the Fury was one of the first generation HBM cards that was released by AMD. High bandwidth memory, that's all it means. Not too fancy, right? But it did improve mining performance on some algorithms. Ethereum, for example, Dagger Hashimoto is quite good on with HBM memory and with HBM2 memory cards, which we'll see in just a second here. But the Fury as well, it's not, I mean, it may have been down for a while, but it's not out. Right here, top of the list, Kaw for Ravencoin, 59 cents. And then on NiceHash, 60 cents on the Kaw algorithm. Again, guys, I don't want to belabor the point, but I'm generally speaking, when I see an alternative to NiceHash that's in a native asset or a native coin, I'm going to default to talking about that and not to NiceHash. Don't want to make it a controversial thing. That's just where my mind is at. And I feel like if you really want to flip profits from Ravencoin mining into Bitcoin, then just mine to exchange or something and flip it into Bitcoin on their order books. You won't pay any fees anyway if you just flip it into Bitcoin on their order books. And then you can do what you want with that Bitcoin. It's not being held hostage by NiceHash or Coinbase, right? So you don't have to worry about that. You can always mine to a different exchange with the Ravencoin and then make that flip yourself. Again, not advice, just saying that's possible. You could do that. So looks like that's top of the list there, but Ergo is also pretty high on that list, 48 cents. That's no slouch. If you really strongly believe in Ergo, or you think that you're charting it and it's going to do a lot better in the near future, or you just believe in its long-term prospects, well, you're not going to lose money by mining Ergo right now. I mean, as it is, you're going to spend almost half your money, more than half your money on just power. There, it's not super efficient, but you will earn some Ergo coins. And that's on really old cards. Jumping into the Polaris edition cards, the 400 through the 500 series. And the way I've been doing this over the last several videos of this type, the mining market signal, is that I'm using the 570 to represent the 4 gigabyte model and the 580 to represent the 8 gigabyte model. Why do I do that? The performance figures that are defaulted here on what to mine, they show in what is in my mind the most accurate representation of all the Polaris cards. Because if you mined with Polaris cards, or if you do still, you can flash a custom VBIOS onto the 400 series cards that gives them the performance characteristics and timing of the 500 series cards. Now, yes, you have limitations with the memory that is installed on those models. I know, I get it. But you have a custom VBIOS that makes it perform much better, right? So roughly 30 mega hashes per second is what any of them can do if they have 8 gigs of memory. So there we go. If you're not familiar with that, that's why I do this. I skip over some. But the 470, or 570 rather, it's showing 27.9 mega hashes on ETH 4G. Hey, Sam, thanks for showing up in the comment section. Thanks for the encouraging words. Just scroll down. It looks like it's doing best on Ravencoin as well. And again, as mentioned on the episode of this show, it's pretty close to the Fury numbers there. Again, this is why it would be helpful to have maybe slightly better performance figures, right, with an overclock and undervolt. And Ergo is even higher, though. It's over $0.75, which is pretty darn cool, considering you're also, it looks like it's a less taxing algorithm on the GPU right there. See, the total cost would be $1.11, but $1.08 on Ergo. That indicates to me that it's consuming less electricity, and it's probably a less taxing algorithm, so it's likely to wear out your GPUs less fast, less quickly. So that's probably a good bet there. Going from the 570 to the 580, calculate our 3-day average there at 12 cent power. Boom! Now we're cooking with gas, right? $1.38 on the native asset, Ethereum itself. Actually, less money on NiceHash. For me, that makes me happy. I just don't want to go there. And then Ergo is still a contender. It's possible for you to earn something from it every single day, but you're over, gosh, what is that? You're 60 cents more profit on Ethereum. Why wouldn't you go that route? If you really feel strongly about Ergo as a miner, maybe you can just buy some later on and hold it to keep it from having too much volatility. But just hold it after you mine some Ethereum. Just swap. Vega 56 this is the first of the HBM2 series cards. Again, higher performance, known to do very well. $2.10 on Ethereum, but $2.54 on Ergo. Pretty darn cool. Moving from the Vega 56 all the way up to the Radeon 7, which is technically part of the Vega family. It uses the Vega core, but a high performance version of it, still HBM2 memory, and plenty of it. but it is technically a Vega card. Scrolling down to see what it does, $4.77 per day in profit on Ethereum natively. DB Crypto is jumping into the comment section saying the hash rate is dropping. People are selling GPUs. I'm holding on until I wake up one day and my hash rate is gone. I love that attitude, right? Steel hands, diamond hands, but with GPUs. Nick shows up in the comment section and Nick is saying, Seth, or Mind Your Biz, you were right about Chia. Hey guys, you know what? It brings me no pleasure to predict that a network is not going to do as well as they hope or as they advertise. Just so you know, I'm not out here like, oh yeah, Bram Cohen is he's a fraud. That's not what I think at all. Bram Cohen is a creator who I respect thoroughly for his innovation with BitTorrent. Just to be very, very clear, I do think that mistakes were made with Chia, but I respect Bram Cohen very, very much and would love to chat with him sometime, maybe for the benefit of the channel, maybe just in person, right? He's the sort of person I would love to meet sometime. That's all I'm saying. So it brings me no pleasure to predict that Chia would not do as well as they all said. Beto is heading out. Good to see you in the comment section, buddy. 432 hertz says, haha, I'm also holding GPUs. Hey, guys, I think that's a really good choice. Oliver is saying that I called it super early. Hey, I did, guys. Feather in my cap. I feel really good about that. But the crypto markets don't reward you for being right. They reward you for being early, right? Right and early. Mostly early, right? You can even be wrong and just be early in cryptocurrency markets. And as long as you sell early too, you're fine, right? But you have to dump on other people. So it's a crazy, crazy scene. It brings me no joy to be right about that, because I know a lot of people bought hard drives and SSDs and NVMe drives and stuff that they're not going to use. I mean, for crying out loud, I got a couple of servers over here that I bought thinking that I might jump in. And then I finally ran the numbers and it's like, I caught my marbles again, was like, what am I doing? And that's when I made that video, guys. I wanted to try to be as early talking to you about it as I could. So Blue Redneck is saying early, started mining when profit was 10 cents on a 580. Nice. That's awesome. Round of applause for you, sir. So we got right here, guys, in the actual profit calculator itself on Vega 56, 477 on Ethereum, and still $4 on Ergo. I'm just going to say, guys, I keep seeing Ergo pop up here for Team Red. So if you're interested, this is not me endorsing Ergo at all. I haven't taken a look at it. Maybe in a future episode, as I'm getting more familiar with some of these trading indicators, we just do some simple charting, and we just look at it to see historically what it's done and actively where it's at right now or at the time of that video. Would that be okay with you guys if I start experimenting with some of these trading indicators and try to figure it out? Because I see something like that and I think, well, Ergo is not super profitable right now, but would it be a good hold for maybe a couple of weeks? And could using a chart make sense for that use case? Could we get enough intel by looking at charts to figure out if a couple of weeks out, it's worth holding on to this other coin? I'd like to find that out. So with your permission, I'm going to try that on another episode, not tonight. I still need to learn more. And I don't want to come across as like some weird know-it-all who's like, oh yeah, I'm learning how to trade. I'm a trader now. I'm totally not, right? Like I'm totally not a trader, but I wish I knew more. So I'd like to experiment with your permission soon. All right, guys, that's the Radeon 7. Kicking butt, taking names. Let's look at the Vega, not the Vega, but the 5600 XT and the 6700 XT. This is the lowest of the line that we have available here. This is why I'm thinking about doing custom cards. I've seen some comments in the past say, hey, what about my 5500 XT? These 5500 cards by AMD, they're very high efficiency. They're not super high hash rate, but they're very high efficiency apparently. And people who use them apparently love them. So maybe I'll do a custom profile for that. And you let me know in the comment section there. But we got these two. Go ahead and calculate on that. We got 435 on Ethereum natively, with a little more than half of that going to the 6000 series card. And Level 51 is joining the comment section saying, I'm mining with 3 GPU gaming rig, 2 2060s and two 2060 Supers and 1 2060. That's awesome. That's a super high efficiency rig right there. And really, I think that people like Level 51 are doing it right, where you have some cards that are kind of general purpose. Like in my workstation right here, I've got a double X 60 series card. And It's great. It's a great all-rounder, and it's really high efficiency. And when I'm just doing workstation stuff, I don't feel like I'm missing out, right? If I want to flip it over to mining, I can. And if I want to just do workstation-related stuff, I can do that and not feel weird about it. I can do content creation stuff, and it helps accelerate my video workflow and other rendering and stuff. It's enough, is what I'm saying. People who look at the NVIDIA lineup and say like, oh, it's got to be an 80 Ti, right? A 3080 Ti or a 3090. It's like, bruh. Those things are so expensive right now. It's like a used car. I've got kids that would want to drive a car. When they see that GPU, they'd be like, Dad, why didn't you help me get a car instead? Okay, yeah, got it. I know. Terrible father. I bought a GPU instead of a car. But just a weird market. So, DB Crypto is saying, one piece of advice as a current pattern day trader. If something tells you to stay up all night and watch the charts, do it. Ha ha ha. Bro, I would never sleep. I would never sleep because of some of the details that I look into and the sentiment where I'd be like, wait, but counter indicators. What's the news over in China? Can I get a translator on this one little obscure website? I would never sleep at all. Do you sleep at all? DB Crypto? Hit me up in the comments. Tell me, how do traders sleep? What do you do? I mean, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. But I digress. So the top of the line here, go with the 5700 XT and the 6800 XT. Calculate the profitability on these two cards. Scroll on down, see what we got. It's still Ethereum is top of the stack at $6, more heavily weighted towards the 6000 series right there. Go with all of the high efficiency Team Green cards. So 1060, 1660, 2060, and 3060. And calculate for that. I don't like that little number, that little partner thing right there. I'm going to block that element. Boop. Bye. All right. DB Crypto, what is sleep? Bro, Illuminati confirmed. I don't know if I can do that full time. I don't know if I can live that life. I had young developing kids at one age, and there are like 2 or 3 years of my life that are a total blur because of having kids that were like newborns, and I never get those years back, right? Like I've got a memory, like a chunk of my memory. It's just been like taken right out, gone. I don't know if I can live without sleep. Like ongoing without sleep. Don't know. Let's see. Oliver Mayhem says he's got a 3090 Ti rig with 5 cards. It's way too hot. Runs on 3 motherboards. Yes, that does seem a bit excessive. Based on what you have said, Oliver, that does seem a bit excessive. All right. So let's see. But we got those four cards there. Looks like top of the stack is Ethereum. Dang. And they're efficiency cards, so we're not going to see super high profit right there. 529 across those 4 cards. A little more heavily weighted towards the 3090, but disproportionately weighted towards the 1660, guys. The 1600 series cards, they took the industry by storm. And I'm finally coming to believe that they are a really, really great value for people who just want to have technology at home and also want to be able to mine on it. So pretty cool stuff. Gallo saying happy late Father's Day. Hey, thank you so much, guys. Happy Father's Day to the fathers out in the audience as well. A little late. I took the day off, basically. I think I published something, but it was like not real time. I just relaxed, guys. I just needed that. I needed that day with my family, right? We don't always get that. And yeah, really, really important, right? Like we're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. And you get to choose who you spend it with. Thank goodness. Like we live in a very free and very wealthy time in human history. So the fact that we get to choose largely how we spend our time is amazing. And I'll spend it with my family every day, all day. So yeah, thanks guys. Appreciate that. So going from the XX60 lineup right there, go to the very top of the line, 1080 Ti and 1660S, 2080 Ti, and then the 3090. And yeah. 432 Hertz says, great thing about being a miner, free GPUs for the family. It's totally true. It is totally true. I got my kids on their gaming rig. I was like, watch this. They're on Celeron gaming. If you overclock your Celerons just right, single threaded performance is not that. It doesn't take too big a hit. You can do 4K gaming on a Celeron. How do I know? Because I've done it. I've done it here in this house. So yeah, 4K gaming on a Celeron and a GPU that was just lying around from mining. Cool stuff. All right, so taking a look at those profit figures right there, 1138 in Ethereum, top of the stack, but Firo leapfrogs. No, it doesn't actually leapfrog past Ergo. It's just in the stacked ranking, I think, for the number of days probably in terms of profitability over 3 days or difficulty for revenue. That's where it's taking a lead ahead of Ergo, but it still looks like Ergo is there on the list, does really, really well. Nick is saying little kids play Roblox these days. Anyway, barely uses anything. Here's the thing. I've got teenagers, guys, and my teenagers love the Batman series, and they love the ultra high res texture packs, and they love playing in 4K because our TV's 4K. So it's like, well, can it push all the pixels? Let me try. So we do what we can. But all right, guys, that's the current profitability on GPUs. Is it awesome profitability? No. Is it better than it was a few days ago? Yes. It is very, very cool. Look, Shink is saying, got my kid on some crypto gaming apps, making that money. Oh my gosh. Shink, do I know you? Wait a second. Are you somebody who I know who's in disguise, incognito? All right. So moving on from that, let's check out our portfolios, guys. Oh, actually, before we do so, let's take a look at the cost to mine Bitcoin. And we're going to use the Brains calculator here, guys. If you haven't used this one, I'm going to say this from a mining family. Excellent tool. Makes it extremely easy. Right there in the live chat, you can see that link. Not going to be posted below the video later on, but in the live chat, this is a calculator you can use for if you are doing ASIC mining for Bitcoin specifically. It's really just locked down to Bitcoin. And the default is typically going to be the S9. Let me go to the S9 without any optimizations. And the S9 without any optimizations currently requires 9.5 cent power, roughly 9.5 cent power or below to be profitable at all. If you're at 3 cent power, awesome. But let's move it up to 12 cent power, which is kind of the average. And at 12 cent power, we're at a negative margin there for using this device at all. It doesn't make any sense, right? Pretty obviously, we should see that. But residentially, the S9 is not your friend. Let's take a look at another model that might work for you. The Micro BT or What's Miner. Let's go to the M20S. I think this is a phenomenal model, 68 terahash, and at 12 cent power, it's still profitable. You could do this at home, and it's not a problem at all. Nick is saying he's got 6 cents in Canada. That's great. That means on the S9, you're still making money, which is awesome. But I mean, not that long ago, even at 6 cent power, the S9 was not in production at all for a lot of miners. So pretty cool that we're back in the money at all on any cost for power. But 6 cents will do it all day. But on the Micro BT, the What's Miner M20S, this is a great model for at-home miners or mid-scale miners who maybe don't get the most aggressive rates like the 3 cents that they suggest is possible here. I mean, I'm not seeing it. I don't know that I've ever seen that. I think the only way you're going to get that is if you're literally generating power on site or you're doing cogeneration on site because you run some kind of a refinery or you have a natural gas flaring operation going on. And good luck with that. Good luck with that if you are a small to mid-scale miner. Probably not what you deal with on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, so I don't think it's worth talking about 3 cent power or even 4 cent power like it's real. It's a unicorn for us, right? 10 cent power, probably doable. 12 cent power, probably more likely. If you live in New York or if you live in California, really, you're probably going to be paying closer to 20 cents. And then in certain parts of Western Europe as well, such as Germany, you can't run this stuff at home. Doesn't make any sense at all, right? So just saying, let's be very real. Let's talk about this in realistic terms. 12 cents per kilowatt hour is doable, and Bitcoin would have to dip below $23,000 for it to stop being profitable. Pretty cool the way this is done, right? Cost of production for one Bitcoin, $23,000 on this particular mining rig. If it ever dips below that, just briefly, you're fine. If it dips below that and then ranges sideways, or here we go the other way around, ranges sideways for a while, then it's no longer profitable for you to mine at home or anywhere that you have this particular ASIC miner for mining Bitcoin. Alrighty, guys, got through that. What questions do you have about ASIC profitability or GPU profitability? Hit me up in the comments section at live comments as we go. We'll keep on going from there into our portfolios over on CoinGecko, guys. Again, CoinGecko made this much easier for me as well. I could do some kind of a Google spreadsheet for this as well, use different data sources and make sure that it's dynamic, but it won't chart for us. That's kind of the problem, is that we won't get charts and see the historical data at a glance the way that this does for us. It's just so much more convenient with all of the data you see here, so much more data rich, information rich, just helps us out a lot. As soon as we know how to interpret it correctly, then all the info is there for us to interpret. So I don't see myself switching anytime soon. All DB Crypto saying, working on solar panels to run mining rigs full time. Panels and controllers are cheap if you go grid tied, but batteries are good if blackouts are common for you. Absolutely true. Guys, we'll talk about that and do some diagrams just in rough terms on another video. But there are some numbers that we need to be aware of in terms of residential power and residential solar electricity that makes sense, and batteries as well. And we'll link to a couple of videos and a couple of content creators who are far better at that sort of thing. And I mean like professional grade battery and solar installers. So these the kinds of people who do this, like when they do consulting work in the space, what they're doing is building power walls and solar grids for other people. And then they also happen to do YouTube on the side. So we'll link to theirs and take a look at that in another video. But going back to our portfolios, we're going to start at the very top of the portfolio, which for us will be GPU mining. And that will show us a hand-picked basket of cryptos that will work for us. Oh, look at that. And look at that giant. It's the Bart Simpson pattern right there. Is that really Bart Simpson? It's like a Groot pattern. So it's kind of like jagged on that one side. But Groot pattern right there for conceal. Still above the $1,000 that we put in. If you guys recall, on this portfolio, we started with $1,000 on every single crypto that we put in. Our P&L now is negative 26.3. Oh, it hurts. It hurts so bad. Guys, negative 26.3% on the total portfolio for GPU mineable coins. And almost nothing got out alive. Conceal is barely keeping its head above water, right? At 1097 right there. But everything else is just like getting throat punched right now. It's just like, it's painful to watch. Polygon way down, not way down, but below our Bitcoin, our wrapped Bitcoin representations there. And Polygon, again, I've mentioned it before, you need to be paying attention to it. Do you see it rising up the ranks, guys? I'm not going to give you many more warnings. And Brandon Coin, if you're watching, you really need to reconsider taking payouts on Matic. Just going to say to that. I'm not your dad or whatever, but bro, consider it. But it's high on the list there. Ethereum, it's a bit farther down. Biggest loser, Swap. What? Swap? How? Okay, well, there you go. Swap. Oh my gosh. Benjamin Wilson asks in the comments section, lol, Seth, buy the dip. Didn't you get Hex? Well, guys, no, for disclosure's sake, I'm not a Hex owner. I'm not a Hex staker, and I'm not going to go into it here, but no. All right, so bottom of the stack is Swap and Conflux. BitTube has come back up, but realistically it was about 40% down before. I think it's just that I just think it didn't have any farther to go. It's at a $2 million market cap total right now. Swap is at under $500,000 right now. So if you're holding these projects, man, it is not, I don't think, possible to like, even if you wanted to try to like market dump these coins, good luck. I don't know who's buying. I don't know who's selling. Probably consolidating in the hands of founders right now when they're seeing any liquidity. Like, all right, we got to keep it afloat, and then they're gonna have to keep wash trading it to keep them alive. It doesn't bode well for most projects there. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Charles Warner is asking, what are your thoughts on off-grid solar to run your mining rigs? Build a shed just for mining with solar? Yes, I think that's a great option if you have all the available parts. We'll talk about it in the video. I think tonight it'll be too much, right, guys? I want to try to do this show and can I be a little more tactical? I kind of don't know if you knew this about me, but I struggle with attention sometimes. So I'm very easily distracted. I'd rather not make myself overly distracted by trying to track too many different threads. That can be an issue for me. Jump down a rabbit hole and never come back out. Cut across. Yeah. Benjamin Wilson says this portfolio will look amazeballs come October, no doubt. And, I think he's right. Strongly suspected he's right in several areas here, but only in some key areas. Beam is down almost 40%. Haven is down 35. Zano is down 35. Ethereum Classic is down 33. But here's the thing. The whole market's down significantly. So once you get towards the 30% territory, that's not too weird here, right? You see Ravencoin is down 31%. Just didn't dip as far down here based on when we watched. Let's see. And Matic Aave interest bearing WETH. This is a bit of a complex one. I put it here because of the staking potential. And notice in terms of the percentage on the PNL, it's down a bit, but it's not down as far as some others, but it was added a little bit later. And there's a reason for this, guys. Son of a Tech did a video on this. He did a phenomenal job on it. I have yet to go all the way through it, but he always does great work. And I think it's worth paying attention to some projects that can be staked on Matic because the fees are low and you can add to it quickly or you can move it quickly without penalties. So if it's permissionless and you're already mining to a certain wallet anyway or certain bag anyway, why not set it into a certain pool at regular intervals and have it earn some kind of a yield, even if it's only 2 or 3% APY every year. That's 2 or 3% more coins that you get for free if you were doing a long-term hold strategy anyway as a miner. Like, what is there to lose there if it's permissionless and it's not through a centralized authority? I think there are a lot of really great plays here that as miners, we need to pay closer attention to. So that's our portfolio in GPUs, down 26.3%. Oof, not cool. Over in hard drives, total profit or total loss is 21%. Again, this has been a trend that's been holding for a while since we started this portfolio. Just looks like it's not dipping as hard. However, no, Chia is. Chia is pretty much getting face punched here, down by 68% total since we started the portfolio. It's actually the one dragging the portfolio down hardest. It's pulling down as hard as MadeSafe coin is pulling up, right? They're keeping equilibrium here because we put $1,000 into each on the same day. And MadeSafe coin clearly is going up by almost 68% to counteract the deleterious effects. That's your $5 word for the day of Chia pulling down. Got Sia coin down pretty bad. Storage down pretty bad. Filecoin kind of hitting the average of the rest of the industry. So not too shocking there. And Burst doing pretty well, all things considered, right? Considering how hard the rest of the market has dipped, the fact that Burst hasn't dipped as hard, interesting, right? And again, it's not that I think Burst coin is like the best project ever or whatever, but take a look. Market cap of $33 million. It's not the worst project up here either. You've got several others that are in the hundreds of millions, sure. Some that are in the billions, like Filecoin. And then others that are just like, that are just dying, right? Very, very young, really getting hurt very, very young with a much steeper decline upon the bad news, right? You see that little bump right up, the little, what's the word? It looked almost like a V-shaped recovery, but then more like a kind of like a bounce back up, and then this weird trend down, the sharper channel downward because of the rest of the industry. And it looks almost like, just at a glance right here, like Chia has a sharper channel down. Don't know why. Whatever, right? So yeah, but hard drive overall, 21% down, not as bad as GPU. Taking a look at CPU, guys, our total profit and loss were negative 24.2. Again, not as bad as GPUs. Let's see what's going on there, though. It's just a fact that nothing is taking as big a hit as the coins over in GPUs that are taking this massive hit, and the coins over on the hard drive portfolio that are taking a massive hit, but then have some that are pulling it up. The whole thing is down. Monero is only down 12%, though. Again, all things considered, that's not too bad, seeing as how everything else is down by 20 and 30 and 40 and 68%. 68% down. It hurts. Wownero, bottom of the stack now. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I mentioned it last time, but it's been down for the last 7 days. This isn't a recent trend. This is actually it kind of finding its own resistance there, or finding its own support rather at the bottom. So don't know exactly what's going on there. In fact, weird, little pop back right back up, weird bounce from whatever its bottom was yesterday, with 22% up in the last 24 hours. That makes no sense. That seems like completely decorrelated from all the other assets in the crypto market right now. So I don't know what's going on with Wownero, but nothing else looks like that trend, Raptorium had this huge spike. We covered it on the other video. You can check that one out. Verus coin also did a weird thing that's a bit like how Wownero did, where look at that chop there. Isn't that weird? That really, it looks almost like a flash crash or something, or like some weird manipulation, some weird dump or something. And then it pops right back up and does the same thing to the upside as well. Like, that's weird. Sharp spikes downward, sharp knives downward, and sharp, like whatever, stalagmites up. These are the official terms, guys. falling knives and stalagmites. I'm just kidding. I'm not a trader. So that's just a weird formation there. It's a weird look. So I don't know what's going on there. It doesn't follow the same kind of like organic trends of something like Monero that has a lot more market cap and a lot more participants that are doing a lot of different things that kind of create some standardization in its moves, right? So, yep, there you go. Benjamin is saying it's a classic exchange doji. Classic exchange doji. There's a word that I know. There you go. I know that word. It's a doji, not a Doge, guys. We'll talk about that in another video, though. But I'd actually have to take a closer look to see if it actually is a doji, and yeah, make more sense to it. Make more sense of it. Magitas is saying RTM for the win. I have to agree. It's doing great. It's ranging sideways after that crazy spike the other day, but it's doing its thing. Kind of like unbothered. It's like the honey badger of this little CPU portfolio, doing awesome. Marco is asking, where do you see the bottom in the next couple of days? That's a really big question, Marco. It's a really big one, and I'm not super comfortable answering it. So let me ask anybody who's watching right now, what are your best guesses, right, for Bitcoin? Nobody can tell the future, and I'm not even pretending to be able to read the charts for the recent past all that well. So I don't want to go on record saying something extremely foolish or any more foolish than usual. So you guys go ahead and set your best guesses for the next couple of days down in the comment section. Benjamin Wilson is saying the 4-hour chart is good. I've heard recently that I should reorient towards a 2-hour chart just in terms of general purpose use, just general use and general chart reading, and getting my sea legs, so to speak, in checking out these charts. But man, this has been a very exciting last 24 hours. So going with 2 hours, whew. Yeah, nuts. Nemesis is chiming into the comments saying zoom out and we're in a 12-year bull market. I can see that. Why don't we go ahead and, guys, we will pull up some trading view just to take a look at Bitcoin a little later on in this video. I think it's probably worth it. It's instructive for us to at least check that out and figure out if comments like what Nem has said there, if they track, right? A 12-year bull cycle, or just zoom way out and get the full history, try to figure that out. And he's not wrong, right? There's a bit of a logarithmic curve there, right? Almost like it almost mirrors the adoption curve, right? And the guy Trillions on Twitter, or that goes with a handle Trillions on Twitter, has laid that out in the stock to flow model, where you can kind of see it sort of decay over time and flatten out. And guys, I'm with you. I see you talking very, very bullish about Bitcoin on Twitter, and I'm right there with you. I'm becoming sort of a reluctant Bitcoin maximalist over time, in that I see that in the long haul, Bitcoin is going to be able to do things like in El Salvador that other coins simply can't, or simply haven't yet, right? So Bitcoin does have that kind of staying power and that kind of mimetic and halo effect and network effect that no other coin is going to be able to catch up to, period. None. Not even Ethereum. And I'm a fan of Ethereum. I think Ethereum is good for what it does well. But Bitcoin does other things like capture everyone's attention in the entire world and suck out all the air in the room when it comes to conversations and the network effect of cryptocurrencies, right? It's the original cryptocurrency. You get guys like Michael Saylor going up on stage and saying things like, there is no second best. There's no second cryptocurrency. Granted, he's eating crow now and saying like, well, maybe there are other cryptocurrencies. I don't know. Could be. I mean, duh, we're looking at a market cap full of them. But Bitcoin is kind of irreplaceable for now. Even if you had something like a massive price spike in Ethereum that brought the total market cap of Ethereum above Bitcoin, in my mind, I don't even know if that would have the psychological effect of ejecting Bitcoin from the public consciousness and from the public discourse in the way that some Ethereum maximalists think it would. That whole like flippening, I don't know. I don't buy that. I just don't see it. Even with the programmable money aspect, the fact that there was, a rollback after the DAO hack, and there is some centralization in terms of running full nodes. There's quite a bit about Ethereum that I think is going to prevent it from ever taking that number one spot in the minds of people who want fully permissionless money. So conversation for another time, I think, probably, but worth bringing up when you talk about a 12-year bull cycle. I think that's possibly true. Nem is talking about Taproot for smart contracts. Oh, we could talk about smart contracts too, guys. RSK and all the other innovations that are on Bitcoin, but that haven't been made culturally relevant because developers aren't doing DeFi there. DeFi is happening on Ethereum, right? So in the same way that Bitcoin has this massive network effect of people saying like it's the hardest asset in the planet, it's the hardest money in the planet, Ethereum has DeFi. And you've got people who've been building now for going on almost 8 years. Crazy when you think about it, right? Going on almost 8 years now of building Ethereum and building out this ecosystem for DeFi. I know, guys, it feels like yesterday, right? If you remember people talking about the ICO, I had close contacts who bought the ICO. I had family members who will still to this day be like, man, if only I had bought the ICO for Ethereum, because it would have cost me only 1 Bitcoin and I had 2,000 Ethereum now. Like, it's not that long ago. I know it feels like it's not that long ago, but it's been almost 8 years. You can believe that. And Ethereum's been building out that ecosystem and people are using it. Right. So you got the Aaves and the Uniswaps and the Curve Financials and all the others and the Maddox of the world and all the other second layer scaling solutions of the world that are saying like, well, hey, Ethereum's got something going on over there. It's got this massive sort of like social financial gravity to it. It's like a black hole for all these like decentralized finance vehicles and tools. So let's build over there. Hey, is Solidity kind of a pain in the butt to work with? Meh, who cares? They've got velocity over there, right? They've got volume. People are actually spending their money over there. So it's tough for me to reconcile that. Like, I love Bitcoin and I love not the cult of Satoshi, but I love everything that Satoshi wrote. And I agree with it pretty much wholesale, what Satoshi wrote. It is a beautiful and elegant vision for how money and how value should work in the world, I think. And then Ethereum does something else. So people are finding value in it now. I have a tough time saying like, oh yeah, one is better than the other. Nah, they're very, very different. You have to evaluate them on very, very different terms, I think. But anyway, that's our CPU portfolio there, guys. Total P&L is negative 24. ASICs, last but not least here, we got negative 22. So not as bad as our GPUs. Crazy. Our GPU portfolio is the biggest loser of all the portfolios here. And looks like top of the list is Pirate Chain, still negative, but only by about 1.8 basis points. Bitcoin is down 15%. Decred is down 19. Bytecoin 19. Zcash 29. Horizon 36. Dash 37. So not too weird. Again, not too weird to see these heavy dips in some of these projects. It looks like a lot of them are actually kind of decorrelated. Pirate Chain is doing something really, really weird there. That almost looks kind of naughty, but they're coming up on almost $1 billion market cap. So I don't want to like accuse anybody of anything or whatever. I would like to explore a little bit, see which exchanges are covering it now. Because at one point it was largely Safe Trade, if I'm not mistaken, that held Pirate Chain. And it looks like, oh, that's right. Duh. Trade Ogre. Duh. They've got loads of liquidity over there. And so, yeah, 90% of the volume is over there on Trade Ogre. That tracks, guys. That makes a whole lot more sense. For some reason, I was still thinking about Safe Trade as being like the primary exchange that was being traded on. Clearly, nothing could be further from the truth. They're number 5 of 5. Again, Jeff, if you're watching, I'd love to have you back on the channel sometime. Talk about Safe Trade at some time. This is great, though, guys. So they're doing great work there. And if it's on Trade Ogre, I don't know. The trust score is pretty high on Trade Ogre, but nobody has ever told me that there's any kind of like wash trading activity that happens on Trade Ogre. I don't know of the APIs that are available on Trade Ogre. I don't know if it's possible to automate wash trading on something like Trade Ogre. You guys tell me in the comment section. Do you think that's a possibility? I don't know. I'm not convinced that's what anybody in the Trade Ogre space is interested in doing right now. And we didn't see any kind of interference like that on Monero. So I don't know why we would suspect that with Pirate Chain. Not that it necessarily follows, right? But privacy coins with similar value propositions of being private all the time, right? Private by default. I wonder if maybe that's happening though, because that's a weird looking spike on Pirate Chain, right? Again, over the last 24 hours to be up 37% when everybody else is taking a bloodbath. Kind of weird, right? Doesn't that seem weird, guys? I mean, right? Benjamin says something really, really wise in the comment section and reminds me that every token has one group of market makers. That's totally true. Sometimes it's the core developer group. Sometimes it is early adopters, or it's just like really big fans. Yeah. So who knows? Yeah, maybe there's a whale out there who's all about trying to, save the pirate chain from this massive evil dip. But even still, over the last 7 days, not as bad now. And let's see. I don't know what to make of that. But looking at the rest of these lines here, the cred is on a really weird trajectory as well, and it almost looks like interference there as well, like there are market makers or whales that are saying like, no, not today, and then it comes back down because you can only prop it up so much, right? These are like closed loop systems. You don't have your ability to to get more capital than you have, even if you're wash trading. So yeah, it looks like it just kind of like ran out of steam, whatever they were doing there. This weird like double top there between those two, and And Benjamin is saying, zoom out to see a 2x bottom on Pirate. Yeah, could be, guys. Again, I'm going to try to like get better at this. So within a couple of episodes, we're going to talk a little more seriously about some trends that we see here, and then we'll be able to chart some of the stuff that we care about. Gosh darn it, stuff we can mine. Yeah. Anyway, Bitcoin just like fizzling, like oh no. Zcash also kind of following that same trend of Decred and Bitcoin. So it looks like maybe there's a little more correlation to Bitcoin than I saw there initially with Decred. Very, very similar trend line there, but a bit more of a peak there with that sort of like slanted head and shoulders almost right there. Yeah, it's not a head and shoulders though. It's just a downward channel. But Horizon, same. Dash, same. Doesn't look too weird, guys. Doesn't look too weird at a glance anyway. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments section. I'm getting some feedback from Benjamin, getting some feedback from some others as well who are talking about how they've been doing in the markets. Barry says he made a bunch of Ethereum today, a bunch on Ethereum today. Awesome. Tell us how that worked out for you in the comment section. But that's our portfolio, guys. Let me take a look again at the Pirate Chain price. And let's see. Let's take a look at that chart and go to candlesticks. And oh, you know what though? We can't actually define. Yeah, on CoinGecko, we can't define what our time is here. So, wah. Benjamin is saying, Seth, you got the best face in crypto. Wizzy is number 2. Thanks. I definitely appreciate that. So, alrighty. So close that down, guys. Go over to the bitinfocharts.com. Let me drop this link for you in the live comments so you can follow along if you want to, but bitinfocharts.com/comparison/Bitcoin-hash rate. And this is where we get as much of the recorded history as we can for the Bitcoin hash rate. Plus we get dark mode, which is awesome. Dark mode is the best. And we can zoom into last year and check to see what our hash rate has been like there last 6 months, and more interestingly, the last 3 months, right? This is not the first time that we've dropped to these hash rates here. So 96 exahash or lower. Looks like this point right here was just above 96 exahash, not quite 100 exahash. Osman is asking me in the comment section, have you ever worked at a radio station? No, I haven't. But ironically, I have worked at a live narrowcast facility. So an AV facility with a few thousand people that I needed to do a broadcast with. And I actually worked as a technical director with the switchers and all the other stuff. So multiple camera operators and multiple other people who were running like floor audio mixers with multiple mics on a choir and on instrumentalists and on speakers and stuff like that, and projectors and stuff, and having to run different signals for our program output that was going to a recording real time and to a secondary sort of auxiliary output that was going out to those projectors and such. It was a lot of fun. Media production has been a part of my personal professional journey for a long time. And yeah, so the radio voice, well, I don't know. Guess I just got lucky. You're very kind. Thank you for that. I received that compliment. Appreciate you. All right, so here the Bitcoin hash rate historical chart. We know that it's dipping from the news coming out of China. We hear that it's dipping because Chinese miners are turning off their Bitcoin rigs. And yeah, so seeing that dip way down, it's exciting. Now, Ethereum, the nice thing about BitInfo charts is that we can go from all these different coin networks. I can even see Doge. XRP, really? XRP? No. Doge, as you see, like it's just exploded over the last several months. Just exploded the total hash rate because people finally realized they could merge mine Litecoin and Doge, which was available to them for a while, but they just finally got their head screwed on straight. Anyway. Gallo's asking, quick question, Seth. Why do you record on a 4:3 ratio? Not complaining, just curious. That has to do with the limitation of the webcam that I'm using right now. It's a 720p webcam, but it offers a weird 4:3 extended ratio. So it gives me nearly 1080p resolution when I pillar box it like this. So I just figured, why not? I'll just pump more pixels into the live stream and I'll use pillar boxes for now, right? So I'll pillar box the video for now. At some point in the future, maybe I'll upgrade it. I'll do something else. When I do stuff that's off live stream, guys, I use, there we go, this bad boy here, little Sony A6300 for other stuff. But for the live stream, I keep it simple. Webcams are just so much easier to deal with for integrating into OBS. But thanks for the technical question. Million ways to throw this kind of media together. So Benjamin says hash rate will correlate with July end. Keep eye on location of new hash in August. I suspect it will be coming from Texas. Yeah, guys, no big secrets there, right? That's no big surprise. There's been interest in mining in Texas, specifically from natural gas flaring for quite a while. And there's been development on that front, not just from natural gas flaring, but from other operations because Texas has such a unique mix of power generation technologies. There's been an interest in it for a while. And that's actually why the power rate in Texas is so low, is because of the diversity of power generation techniques. People who are trying to push renewables really, really hard, guess what? They don't always get the best rate for power because they're trying to pay down the capex of building up multiple gigawatts of hydroelectric dams or multiple, whatever it is, gigawatts of solar arrays and other stuff, right? It's not always better to go with one renewable source and then just say like, oh yeah, well, we're offsetting all this carbon. Like, no, you're not offsetting the carbon. You had to manufacture all this other stuff and all the infrastructure and there were material costs and, actual like financial costs. It's never as green as people say it is, So Texas actually does quite well in terms of the variety of power generation sources. I'm not shocked to see that a lot of the hash rate is going to go to Texas. And I think it's great. Texas is a great state and more mining there will make it an even better state. Love to see it. But yeah, Ethereum, or that's Doge. No, this is Ethereum. Here we go. Ethereum mining going way up and then scaling back a bit, likely because of the news coming out of China. But again, guys, we're seeing participation in Ethereum mining go up massively over the last 6 months. This bull run has brought everybody out and just got them all thinking like, yeah, I definitely got to do it. There's a 1 year right there as well. Practically, a previous low at that point, ranging sideways in terms of participation since the last bull run, as we saw mining profits decline sharply, especially after October 31st, right? The 10-year anniversary of the Bitcoin white paper. It's like everything fell off a cliff, right? Including participation, just boom, slowed down. And then only the most efficient miners were able to continue with Ethereum mining like us and went sideways. And then we all saw that profit move up and it was like, why wouldn't we? Let's just jump right in. Yeah, Nemesis is saying, yes, I've been saying the same. Mind your biz. With green energy, secondary markets to support it are not so green. Totally, man. Negative externalities. It's like the fact that you're dumping whatever nuclear waste in somebody else's country doesn't mean that nuclear waste doesn't exist. It means that you've dumped it in somebody else's land. So anyway. But we see that hash rate moving up on Ethereum. Let's take a look at Doge. I'm just super curious, right? What? No, not Litecoin, weirdo. Doge. And there we go. And these should correlate, right? We should see Litecoin and Doge be the same. However, some people don't know they can merge mine. And so there will decorrelate a little bit. We'll decouple. Let's take a look at the last 6 months in particular, because I think that'll be more interesting. Yep. Hash rate for Litecoin definitely higher for a while and dropping off with Dogecoin. Part of that could just be that there are technical difficulties with some of the merge mining pools, but they got more tightly correlated as we had characters like Elon Musk going and getting people confused about, about which crypto assets they should be involved in. Guys, if you're watching and you're like a diehard Doge maximalist or whatever, if you're into the meme coins, like just know it's fine. I think there's an Adam Sandler quote from an Adam Sandler movie that coins like Doge, they're like scooters, they're like mopeds, fun until your friends catch you. Friends don't let friends hold Doge long term. Keep a moon bag, fine. It's fine. Really, it's okay. You're gonna do all right. But don't go all in. Don't go all in on stuff like that. It's just like riding a moped. It's kind of silly, right? Just a little bit. Just throwing it out there. Anyway, but there's the hash rate. Kind of an interesting story there, guys. Just wanted to check that out. Taking a look at some of the pools here, guys. If you're not using miningpoolstats.stream, I'm not paid to say this or whatever. This isn't sponsored content, but you should be in terms of checking out the various different opportunities for mineable coins. Here's Bitcoin again. Antpool, their participation dropped off very sharply. So, but you know, that's the default miner for any of the Ant miner ASICs. Antpool is. So it could just be that there are a bunch of really lazy miners from China who are like, yeah, I got this from the Bitmain factory, keeping it on the Ant miner pool, or keeping it on Antpool, and then I'm just paying out to this certain wallet. And they were able to do that at scale. Like, that makes sense at scale to just stick with Antpool because you got ultra low fees. For PPLNS, you're paying 0% fees. So why wouldn't you just keep it on the default, especially when that's the firmware that Bitmain ships those ASICs with, right? Like, it's just automatically configured. In fact, if you don't go past the base configuration, it's going to mine over to Antpool to a wallet they control, you know, for testing purposes, for break-in purposes. So, like, it's the default. Just give it a different wallet address. You're done. Like, you don't have to do anything else ever again to it until you want to, like, clean it or maybe put it in liquid for immersion or something. Like, you have options after the fact. But as far as the pool, why wouldn't you just stick with that? That's what they do. And you can see that right there in that little chart for the hash rate, how it's just been chopped to death. Where before it was, there you go, 21 exahash with an average of 18 and a quarter. Yeah, they're still showing the average of it. 23 exahash at the peak, and now down to a valley of about 12 or so, give or take. That's huge, guys. Almost 10 exahash down on that pool. I think that's the one that's really taking the biggest hit. Some of the others, it's interesting, kind of more of a weird, like, gradual decrease over the last several days over on Poolin, and then the others, pool.btc.com, which, there you go, Binance. Ooh, Binance took a huge hit. What? Wow. These guys came out of nowhere. Little foundrydigital.com. Their pool almost looks like it just came online before all this happened. Maybe they knew something that we didn't, got a pool set up, or maybe it's just one provider. I mean, that's always a possibility too. So that's one really big mining provider. And so they just set up their own pool. Vorn, what's going on? I see you down in the comment section. Thanks for joining us. It's really late where you are. I can't believe you're awake, but welcome, man. Good to see you. So again, looking at a lot of these pools, raw pool, again, could just be a reporting error, like they're saying API error. Maybe that's why it's not showing up, but popping in just a couple exahash there as well. And then Huobi pool, big hit there as well. Previously 6 exahash, now chopped down to like 2.5 exahash. Just big time miner exodus from some of these Chinese pools. And, wow, you guys tell me, is this net positive? Is this net negative? What do you think about the hash rate leaving China? Is this actually good for crypto? We know it's good for the United States, right? We definitely know that. But is it good for cryptocurrency in general? Is it good for Bitcoin in general to have mining hash rate leave another world power? See where I'm going with this? Because we don't see that many Russian pools, for example. We don't see as many in that top 10 as we do Chinese pools. So it seems like the other big contender from American pools and then other international pools are going to be, there you go, Hong Kong and China, both. Yeah, Hong Kong, China, and then there you go, Binance US. Weird. It's Binance US that dropped off. What does that mean there, Binance? That all the Chinese miners went offline, but your American pool is the one that dropped in hash rate. I call shenanigans. So Kind of weird. Sam is saying it really is good for us in the United States. I totally agree with you there. It's a wonderful thing. It really is, especially if the United States wants to be very serious about potentially adopting something of a Bitcoin backing or even a crypto basket of value to be able to put into like a treasury. So we have a bit more of a solid basis or a sound basis for some kind of a hard currency to back the US dollar, then great. It's far better for the United States to have a stake in the means of production. Totally. That's totally true. And hey, the libertarian in me, which is not, capital L libertarian or whatever, the libertarian in me wants, hold on, I'm backing up because I was going down a path there intellectually that I'm not sure I want to go. The libertarian in me wants to see the United States back the strength of the US dollar through means other than military intimidation and intervention internationally, right? That would be super cool to know that the US dollar is a strong currency the world over just because it's a strong currency fundamentally, not because we have the biggest tanks and the biggest Air Force and the biggest Navy and the deadliest, whatever, special forces operators, right? Like, it's cool that we have all that stuff. Don't get me wrong. And I love living here. I feel very safe here because of it. But it would be really cool to see the US dollar be a strong contender internationally just because the US dollar is an awesome bit of currency by having some kind of a treasury backing by cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. That'd be cool. Like, that's, in my mind, that'd be super, super cool to see. So yes, seeing more hash rate being produced domestically. That's the thing about Bitcoin is it kind of doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it's produced domestically. And if the United States had a monopoly on it, would that be a threat to other international currencies? Tell me in the comment section, guys. What do you think? I don't know that it's necessary for the U.S. to have a chokehold on the means of production for cryptocurrencies, and especially Bitcoin. But you tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. DB Crypto is saying, I can't wait until we pay for clothes and food with BTC, ETH, or possibly something else. Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that definitely would be. I think there's some possibilities for that right now, guys. And we already have our stable coins like USDC and USDT, but they're running on Ethereum. They have to run on Ethereum. We've got Matic already adopting some of those different coins, those tokens that can be bridged right over. So you've got higher performance and then final settlement if you want to settle on Ethereum, finality over on Ethereum. So Polygon is doing a great job there with all the smart contract code portability from Ethereum over to Matic. Pretty powerful stuff. I said that on our roundtable with Son of a Tech and Crypto Mikkel and a few others several weeks back, a couple months ago now, I think, where I just said, I really do think that Matic and some of the second layer solutions, that they're going to outperform Ethereum for a while. Even when ETH 2.0 launches, it's not necessarily going to scale up the transactional throughput. Like the transactions per second won't necessarily go up, at least not right now with Beacon Chain. That doesn't do anything to help them go up or scale anyway. So it's going to be a while before any of the other proposed technologies that go into ETH 2.0 could even start to scale up Ethereum. These second layer solutions are doing it now. So that's kind of cool. And we can use that sort of thing right now if you didn't want to have to use like Visa or MasterCard or some other merchant processor to be able to use cryptocurrency in a practical way out in the world. Gosh, guys, on mineyour.biz, we accept cryptocurrencies for any of the merch that we still sell there, including... Gosh, what shameless plug, the Freedom Phone that has Calyx OS or Calyx OS pre-installed on it. So for your security and for sort of like software hardening of your phone. But we accept cryptocurrencies for everything there. Like, we practice what we preach. We actually want to do what we want. Like, we're trying to be the change that we like to see in the world. So we accept cryptocurrencies there. All the stuff we have over on Amazon, but that's just for convenience sake. If you need 2-day shipping on something, then we got designs over there as well. But yeah, Nemesis is also saying in the comment section, BitPay credit card will let you spend your Bitcoin anywhere. Yeah, I've got a BitPay card, but here's the thing. I'm not super happy about spending my Bitcoin on a credit card. And so even though I've got a BitPay card, I wind up not actually toting it in my wallet anywhere because I don't want to accidentally reach for it and use it when I have other options, right? Like other debit cards. I wind up using the Fold card. that's just a way I get little Bitcoin rewards back on the fiat currency that I already have set aside for paying bills. So that's the direction I've chosen to go. But so many other possible ways that we could use cryptocurrencies today. And guys, I'm here to tell you, we have enough cryptocurrency in circulation that we can do a circular cryptocurrency economy right now. There's nothing stopping us. Those of us who already know, well, we know. If you want to use stable coins, it's already pegged to the US dollar. You got nothing to lose. You got nothing to gain, right? By holding on to those coins. Just use them as currency if you really want to. So yeah, there you go. But, all right. So pools, we see, guys, this is where the most practical application of the so-called China mining ban is taking place. It's right there. Let's jump into one chart here on tradingview.com. And I don't know if this is public or not, but I'm going to go ahead and just drop a link to this in our comments section. You guys can see this chart if you really want to see it right there. If you want to pull it open in TradingView real time, you can. But you know what? I'm kind of in the way here. Let me jump out of the way. So here's our chart, guys. And I'm on the, like I mentioned before, I'm on the 2 hour right now. Somebody else said that our 4 hour is going to give us some really good info there as well. So zoom out a bit as well on the 4 hour. And geez. Yeah, I'm trying to look for anything that I can identify. Just off the top of my head. DB Crypto is saying that he saw today that crypto has roughly the same adoption rate as the internet in 1997. Dude, I think you are totally right. I saw that chart as well, and I'm trying to remember who it was that brought that up. Let's see, maybe I can find that over on Twitter. But yeah, the adoption rate of Bitcoin and of cryptocurrencies, having it be roughly the same rate that the internet was, means that we've still got quite a bit of growth left, but we don't have as much as you think. We're no longer at the knee of a hyperbolic curve for adoption. We are, we're hitting, definitely, we've already hit critical mass, I should say, to be able to get into a much bigger move for adoption. So now we're kind of waiting for people who, like the mainstream plebs, to get in, and then the laggards will come in after that, and they'll bring in quite a bit of money as well, and convert more of whatever the M2, right, financial wealth of the world. They'll bring more of the M2 with them when they're more comfortable using cryptocurrencies. All those laggards, right? Like, because they're the people who are like, whatever. They're typical consumers also, right? They go buy fast food and clothing and technology and stuff. They just take a long time to figure out that they want to do it. So yeah, we'll see. Benjamin says, isn't nature beautiful? Yeah, it's crazy, right? You can see these Fibonacci sequences everywhere, including people adopting stuff, right? It's kind of is sort of a beautiful fractal thing when you look at it. It's true. All right. Vorn says, I can analyze charts. I see panic. All right. Panic at the charts. All right. Yeah, I agree. I don't know if there's anything to make from this other than a weird channel there. I think that there's consistent support there that we've kind of been going through, and looks like, here we go, that long wick up. And yeah, like, let's see, like Benjamin was saying, says that sees a doji on 4 hour. Yep. Couple doji right there. Or is that a hammer? Anyway. So yeah, guys, weird support. It looks like almost, I don't dare call it that again. Like, gosh darn it. Do your own research. Do not take charting advice from this guy. Not at all. I've been telling you all throughout this episode that I'm just starting to learn my vocabulary, try to get a handle on this, right? So we'll take some time, we'll ease into this, and be patient with me. That's all I'm going to say about that. And DB Crypto is saying, the future is so bright, and we're all a community and a family on a journey to the future. Barry also says in the comment section, I need to bring my RTX 3090 back online, replacing thermal pads. Nice. I've always felt like if you have to replace thermal pads, it kind of is a good time to sort of mentally check in and figure out, do I want to do anything more to this, like put a water block on it? Because you're going through the effort anyway. So Like, why not? In some cases, why not? If it's just going into a mining rig with a bunch of other 3090s because you've got like a really, really 3090 dense mining rig set up, then I get why you wouldn't. But if it's going to a workstation, then like, yeah, why not? Right? Like, why not put it on water? So anyway. But yeah, guys, just trying to make sense of this. It's just a really, really awful looking chart, like in a lot of ways. Really, really awful. But I want to zoom way, way out, like Nemesis invited us to do. So we see a couple like weird head and shoulders patterns up here towards the top of its peak price, right, all the way up at 64,000. And there we go. Move out of the way. So weird, like head and shoulders here, suggesting a downward trend, but then coming back up, like these really, really big moves. Try to keep it really, really high, and then a massive sell-off. And when we came down from the 60,000s into the 40, and then now into the 30,000s range. I don't know. It almost looks like this is a channel right here that just brings us back to before a much larger head and shoulders up in the 60,000 range, where it was awesome way up higher, right? Way up in this range. We were all flying high, like, whoa, look at how much my Bitcoin is worth. But then down here, we'll just draw some simple lines just to kind of show a channel here. Yeah, get another one going there. That kind of tracks. Yeah. Right there. To see that it's actually more like a channel that we've just been moving through. See, there's those peaks right there. We're going to get to the top of the close there instead of the candle instead of the wick. And then bottom of those candles instead of those wicks. And it's not perfectly accurate there or whatever. Like, again, not pretending to be in any way. Again, hashtag do your own research. But it kind of makes more sense. And got to give massive credit to CTO Larson, whose video I checked in on earlier today. And he kind of called my attention to this, where I was like, oh yeah, that kind of does make sense. Where we're kind of like when we went above this point, right into the 40,000, it's like, we're just really lucky to be here, really happy to be here, aren't we? Anywhere above 40,000 on Bitcoin. That's just amazing. Because if we just continue to range sideways here in the $30,000 to $40,000 range, we would have been happy there as well. ABMNS production, thank you for saying hello in the comment section. Really appreciate that. But we would have been perfectly happy just ranging sideways in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. Guys, I mean, good grief. That was 10x over what Bitcoin was last year, right? Getting to $35,000 Bitcoin, it was almost literally exactly 10x what it was the year before. Generally speaking, in these larger moves, Bitcoin does go up an order of magnitude, but it doesn't always go like a full 10x from like 1 year before. I don't know if that's like a specific trend that it always follows. And again, we'll do a little more research into that. But man, if you were holding Bitcoin from last year, you got 1,000% returns. What are you complaining about when you see it dip back into the range that it is right now? Are you high on something? What's wrong? Did you not pay attention to how much wealth was just created in Bitcoin? Don't get greedy, right? Like, just take a look, count your blessings. However you want to frame it, guys. Like, things are not all bad. They're not the worst. And yeah, we could be going into a much deeper sell-off with a bit of a head and shoulders right there, like a little mini head and shoulders at this point, right? So draw a little line here and kind of show you from this area moving forward. I'll kind of box that off. But otherwise, this rectangle here, this channel here, I think it's kind of just showed that, it's just kind of, it's been ranging sideways above $30,000, and anything above 40,000 is like, cool, gravy. If you got something above 40,000, then you made out like a bandit and you were ready. You were ready to buy back in anywhere below it. right? Like if you pegged or got some profits above $40,000 is what it looks like. DB Crypto mentioned in the comment section that people get too greedy, set stop losses, and take your profits where you can. Man, I'm just getting started with this and looking at these charts, and I'm beginning to really see it and agree with what you just said there. That sounds like a truth to me, for sure. Not getting too greedy, and you see it here in this channel here. But let's go ahead and draw another sort of support line here at about almost 60, and maybe that was a psychological thing, right? If you guys remember, we'll just say that roughly the 60 is approximately the psychological support line there, or resistance line there, and then draw another little support line here for this upper channel at almost 50, right? We're weird psychological levels, right? Where it's gonna chop through here, right? It's gonna go up and down, but it's right at the middle level of another little mini head and shoulders right there, right across the shoulders of that's almost exactly 50,000, right? So we had this weird channel up here where it ranged sideways for a while and it broke up above with some heads going up there, or like a double top here, but it's kind of like much bigger first top there above 60, but just barely. So hey, if you sold above 60, awesome, you did amazingly well. But again, you had opportunities above 50 to do some really cool stuff. Do some shorts on the way down when it was rejected, didn't make 60,000 there. And then when you saw that it was up above 60, we'll try to zoom in on that just a little bit. You saw that it was above 60 here. You had plenty of opportunities to sort of see. I think they're using some gaps there to see that it was on its way back down. And we saw this, guys. Again, most of us in this audience, in this group, right, we're miners first, right? We do a dollar cost average strategy using hardware, basically. And the price of electricity gives us a subsidy to be able to get our crypto at a discount. That's kind of mining in a nutshell, really, the way that we're experiencing it. And whether you choose to keep your profits natively in Ethereum or natively in some other spec coin or altcoin, or immediately peg them to like wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum or wrapped Bitcoin on Matic or whatever, or just dollars, right? Some kind of like stable coin. Up to you how you want to do that. But I'm looking at this chart and just realizing, at least on Bitcoin, we've had some tremendous opportunities. I don't think the ride's over though, personally. That's just me. Because when you look at this as well, yeah, this kind of forms, again, without doing anything like there you go, the trend-based fib extension, which I'm starting to learn as well, guys. So again, be patient with me. I'm starting to learn this, and I want to learn better how to use it, right? So really be patient. I'm trying to figure this out and not, first off, not make a total fool of myself. Yeah, I know, I turned the camera on too late. But also not give people bogus, weird, false hope. Guys, that means so much to me, to just try to, like, if I'm going to bother even bringing anything to you, try to bring something truthful, right? And not misleading or weird. And when I do paid reviews and stuff, guys, I always tell you, right? It's a paid review, paying bills, right? So thank you for being understanding there too. But I'll always just tell you, like, it's a paid review. So take it or leave it. But here, like, this is, yeah, I don't want to say anything or suggest anything here that makes anybody think like, oh yeah, well, Seth said, check this out. Nah, bro. No, danger, Will Robinson. I'm messing around with tools on a chart. I'm not giving lessons and I'm not giving financial advice. But I'm seeing right here, kind of zooming out, as was suggested before, at least for all of this run up, we've got some other lines we can take a look at as well. And there is a bullish case for Bitcoin making a return here. Now, on these breaks right here, is there the possibility of us seeing Bitcoin come back up? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, right? We could see another leg up for this bull run. And it could be an end of the year miracle, right? A Christmas miracle. We see Bitcoin go like parabolic again and see it really run up, a bit like how we did right here in January, trying to break that $50,000 psychological level, right? That psychological resistance level. And then it did, right? And then it broke it again. And then it broke it again, right? It kept breaking $50,000. It's pretty darn cool there. Benjamin is saying the 21st of December, 2021. Actually, that would be really cool. And just in terms of like numerology or math or whatever, just the fact that there's so many twos and ones, that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, yeah, just looking at this, guys, we could, if we really wanted to, let's go ahead and take the top of this other channel. Let's just we'll draw a new one. Right, we can just say that that end move there, right, where this is almost like a slanted head and shoulders here, and maybe that gives us this phenomenal channel down here, right? There we go. We got our support there. So this is several support lines all the way up through there. And what are these guys? They're funny looking lines on a chart. Let me put red around this so we don't take it seriously, because I'm so obviously full of it. But like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so many ways to look at this, and I just, in my heart of hearts, I don't think that we're totally over. Right? It's not over. This run is not over. It's going to look a bit unlike anything we've seen before because of institutional interference and manipulation. We've never seen anything quite like this before. I will say that in terms of the number and the quality of institutional players who are interested right now in Bitcoin. But again, without me like having some hard data, like just the sentiment feels weird. Derek is in the comment section talking about other projects. Cool story, bro. We're not going to show anything other than just like some very, very corny charts. What I need is a crayon to write on this. Seriously, that's the level that I'm at right now, guys. But yeah, just kind of looking at this and realizing we had a couple of channels here that we were able to trade in, and it kind of makes me sad that I wasn't kind of more actively learning some of these tools and figuring out how to get involved in trading sooner, right? Because I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking like, well, there was this really great chop, and it wasn't like micro chop. It was really great, bold moves to trade against in this channel here above 30,000. And we knew for a fact, it was like, okay, no. Bitcoin is back in a big way. Bitcoin is like kicking butt, taking names, and it did 10x from the previous year. We are in a bull market. Like, grab your neighbor by the shoulders, slap your mom across the face. Mom, buy Bitcoin, like whatever it is you got to do, right? To make this real for you and for your family and for your friends. Just tell people like, no, we are obviously in a bull market. Anybody who says like, oh, how does it feel to be in a bear market now? Just like throttle them gently. Don't choke them, but like throttle them and be like, hey, we're in a bull market. We're not in a bear market. It doesn't matter what like the small trends are here. Zoom out just a little bit and you'll see we are obviously in a bull market. Where were we before this year? We were way lower. Where are we now? We are ranging. Yes, we're ranging sideways in this channel between $30,000 and $40,000 for Bitcoin, but we're still elevated 10x what we were last year. This is obviously a bull market. So yeah, DV Crypto is saying reversal indicators, support and resistance lines, and a couple moving averages like 5, 50, and 200 day are a good place to start. Okay, I see that too, and thank you so much. I really appreciate that feedback, man. I'll take a look at that. Everybody's been talking about like the death cross that apparently just happened, and what will eventually turn into a golden cross again as things come back up. So I'll have to take a look at that and start baking this into this chart that I'm taking a look at now. Benjamin Wilson is saying in the comments as well, it's just a natural swing of waves in a swelling ocean. On that note, guys, feedback. Elliott waves. Should I be doing more of a deep dive on Elliott waves? Let me know in the comment section. Love to get feedback from as many people as I can. Yeah. So guys, I'm really excited about starting to learn some of these tools. Again, don't want to like bust out some of the fib-based retracement tools or some of the fib retracement tools too soon. I'm trying to become a little bit more skilled in their use. I think I'm getting a handle and a bit of a sense on it. But, I don't want to like debut it here and be like, get it all wrong. Some of these, just drawing these lines for a channel is as far as I'll go tonight. I've already made enough of a fool of myself for one night, really. Guys, definitely really appreciate your feedback and appreciate your participation in tonight's show. Guys, what did I miss? This was a much longer live stream. I'm happy to maintain this particular format. And, you know what? I left Nemesis totally out in the cold, man. I'm killing him. I'm killing this guy. Hanging out for like an hour. We will have to do that on the next one. So Nem in the audience, let's do this again on the next one and go over some of the stuff together. Got some other folks who are willing to do some TA from the Crypto and Coffee crew who I'll be able to pull in soon. Cool. All right. Yeah. So Nemesis is saying, mind your biz. You need the DCA adventure scripts. You should talk to Jay about it. All right. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that, guys. So I'm just kind of like heading down this path now. And mostly it's because like I got accused of like, hey, you're using Chia as clickbait. Hey, guilty as charged. Chia was easy to talk about. And I was the only person who saw very clearly that there were problems. And I was the only person willing to talk about it. If that makes it clickbait, then sorry, not sorry. Hate the game, right? Just hate the game. I just got in and was the first person to be honest about the bad stuff that I saw. So that's that. I don't want to do clickbait though, guys. I don't want to be like, new mail, like, mouth open on all of my thumbnails. Oh my gosh, you won't believe it. There's divergence and look what's happening in Bitcoin and this is the end. I kind of had to do that for tonight, right? Is this the end of crypto? The answer is obviously no, guys. I'm trying not to do all clickbait all the time. This is a weird game, though. How do you get people to tune into a video and have a serious conversation unless you get a little bit of their attention? So I want to be able to talk more about this stuff. In the future, I want to be able to chart a lot more of the cryptocurrencies that we have in these portfolios, right? For GPU mining and CPU mining. Nobody does this, right? Nobody does this. And I want to be able to take this journey with you. So with your permission, right, guys? Just want to know that it's okay with you. That I start learning some of these tools and start to get my sea legs charting some of the coins that are important to us as miners, right? As CPU, GPU, and ASIC miners. Vorn says he's clickbait Seth. It's true, Vorn. I am clickbait Seth. That's right. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Would you? Would you really have it any other way? I don't think I would. ABMNS production says it's sad how actually good YouTubers like you get so less coverage. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you. That means a lot. On that note, guys, I should probably call it a night. Been streaming for about a little over an hour and a half, almost 2 hours now, coming up on 2 hours. I should probably let you guys go as well. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Let me find that right there. Ooh. How did I get lost? Thank you so much for the super chat, guys. Definitely appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Appreciate you hitting the subscribe button, sharing the videos. Let's see. Michael is saying the noise gate is strong with this one. Oh, are you guys losing some of my quieter stuff? Do I have the noise gate a little too aggressive there, Michael? Because I'll go ahead and I'll adjust that. Thanks for the feedback, guys. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for sharing the channel. So close to 10,000 subscribers, guys. So close. With your help, I think we can do it. It's a big deal for me right now, just because of where I am in terms of developing this channel into something that's actually useful, not just for us, but for them. Some of the corporate interests in crypto as well. That helps to produce better content. That helps to buy back some of my time for it. So definitely appreciate that, guys. Appreciate you being here to the end of the video. Appreciate you being active and engaged and asking good questions and giving great answers and great feedback, guys. Really, this has been awesome. This has been awesome. DB Crypto especially, let me give you a special shout out there, and Benjamin as well. Guys, thanks so much for giving me such great direct feedback for what I've been doing here, kind of like the rudimentary charting and just playing here with charts. Thanks for some of those breadcrumbs, getting me on the right path. Appreciate it, guys. And I love your face. And new sign off, right? Remember to stay private and mind your biz. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you want to be notified of videos like this in the future, first off, click subscribe, press the bell icon. Additionally, you can sign up for the Mind Your Biz email newsletter. That'll give you exclusive access to certain freebies, notifications for deals within the cryptocurrency mining space, as well as some of our flash sales for merchandise, which you can buy with cryptocurrency. That's right. It's the only cryptocurrency merch that you can buy with cryptocurrency. We practice what we preach. As always, thank you so much for watching. You're the reason I make this media. I love your face, and I will see you in the next one.